that you're able to talk, and Chris is a Border Patrol agent, but he is with the union. He is representing the union now, and he's a senior official in the union that represents the Border Patrol agents. Chris can speak freely because he is protected by the union. But you know as well as I do, Chris, that the big reason why they don't want reporters like me down at the border, they don't want Bill Malhusian, they don't want, anybody from Breitbart or anybody else who's actually covering this story down at the borders, because they do not want the American people to see what is going on. And they threaten the agents to keep their mouths shut. They threaten the agents so that they don't leak any information out about possible SIAs crossing the border or terrorists. So they not only keep that shut, but they do everything in secret. Like they're flying people in the middle of the night, to like Tennessee and New York and, with ICE, dropping them off in these unmarked planes and all these children. And it's almost as if they're conducting their own covert operation. It's like the U.S. government is conducting a covert operation against its own citizens. It's crazy, but I don't even have any other way of expressing it. Am I wrong here? I can't figure it out.
No, you're absolutely right. And on the ICE side, a lot of those guys that are tasked with going and getting violent offenders or sexual predators that they know where they're at, and they're tasked with going and getting them, picking them up, and getting them out of the country. They're not allowed to do so because they're stuck inside doing babysitting duty. So, meanwhile, these hardcore criminals are out there preying on our families, and the people tasked with getting them out of here are babysitting. It's insane. I mean, it's just. Everything is backwards right here. And then our chief says, well, you're getting bogged down in the policies. Well, you're bogging us down in the policies. And my work is bogging us down in the policies. So, yeah, we are getting bogged down, but it's not by our own doing.
Right. It's not by your own doing. Explain what it's like, because I know so many people that are listening right now. It's always stunning to me, maybe because I've been down to the border so much, and you and I have seen so much down there. And in reality, as my source said, there are some things that we see that we wish we never would have seen. I remember being down there where the woman was profusely bleeding, and it was so horrific. Her 2-year-old daughter was standing right there. It was her mom's on the ground in the middle of this dirt road near the Rio Grande where there's nobody else around. We were so lucky that we found her, and just blood was coming out of her nose. She was dehydrated. She was sick. A lot of these people come into the United States too, that are migrants, just so everybody knows. They don't just release and go get a job and they're happy with their families. Some of them are actually in indentured servitude. They are slaves to the cartels that brought them in here. Explain what it's been like for you and for the agents out on the border in the Rio Grande Valley, what a really rough day out there looks like, especially as summer, approaches in spring. I mean, we know it's going to get really hot this summer, and if it doesn't slow down, you're going to see a lot of deaths.
Yeah, and we saw a lot this past year. I know in one particular stretch of a week or so, we had one of our guys. He had an unresponsive child a toddler, 3 years old that passed away. Another one was 2 years old that passed away, and then a couple of days later, he had a medical call, and it was an older man that passed away. We had a lady that had a heat stroke and died in front of her children. A couple of years back, we had found 3 toddlers in the brush, along with one lady that had passed. We had a 9-year-old have a heat stroke and die in front of us. We've had countless females come up and just tell us just horrible, horrific stories of what happens to them on their journey here. And we've had